Hi, you're good to go.
Alright, cool. Okay. Hello, class. Last time we went over what a greenhouse is and how they function. And today we're going to be talking about the different greenhouse glazings or materials that make up the side of a greenhouse. Okay, so today our objectives are going to be able to identify the different greenhouse glazings and be able to determine which is the best for a situation. Okay. Let's start PowerPoint now. Oh, actually, no. Alright, so there are different materials that make up greenhouses. What do you guys think are some materials that can be used for a greenhouse? Ignoring those on the screen and those right there. What do you guys think? What are some things?
Saran.
Saran, like saran wrap? Okay.
Polycarbonate glass or something?
Yeah, that's one.
Nope.
Maybe glass? What do you guys?
Was it only for glazing?
Well, a glazing can be anything that's on the outside of a greenhouse, like all that material. It's not necessarily like a, if you think like a glazed donut, it's not like that. It's like a glazing is like the side material. So,
Okay.
if I had a ton of money, I would have examples for you guys for this part. So, I would pass those around, and so some of them we have like glass. There's different plastics, not necessarily saran wrap, but like thicker, like plastics.
Yeah, I mean like
But-
saran wrap, like the black saran you see on furnaces.
On what?
On a fernery?
Fernery?
Okay. It's something like my hometown grows.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Well, it's all good. Okay, so those are the different greenhouse materials, and different ones go for different situations. They cost different amounts, and we're gonna go over that today. All right, so different greenhouse glazings. You can have glass, a film plastic, or a rigid panel, and we're gonna go over those. First, it's glass. They float, and they're about an eighth of an inch in diameter, and they're the strongest material they can get for a greenhouse, but also they're the most fragile. They have a high amount of light transmission, depending on how many layers you have, but they have very low impact resistance. So if it hails outside, it's more likely that your greenhouse is going to be destroyed. And they're more expensive, and so if you have to break all the time compared to other ones, it can be a longer term financial cost if you choose to do glass. Not many places do glass. Usually it's for hobbyist people who do glass. So actually there's a place over near Shands actually has a glass greenhouse. Okay, plastic films would be polyethylene, vinyl, vinyl chloride, polyester, Tefazil. Plastic films, this is the main one used in greenhouses. It has a very short lifespan, and it has less heat loss. It's very cheap, so significantly cheaper than glass, because glass would be very, very expensive. That's vinyl, thicker life, a little bit longer. It costs more though. So, but there can be a static charge which can affect some electronics and stuff. Polyvinyl chloride, a lot more expensive. Won't go over that one that much. Polyester, very expensive. But it's used for a shade cloth material. Tefazil should last a long time, but it's very expensive. Rigid panel, that's more of the stuff that's the thicker stuff that you see. If you see the really strong greenhouses, it's a thicker plastic. It's a lot more stronger, so it'll have a lot better impact resistance compared to the other plastics that if you have hail or elements that come in that destroy them, so it lasts a lot longer, so it's a longer term for the price. So the first one, it has a rigid panel, has a 2-year lifespan. It's 4 times the cost of the plastic, but it's a lot stronger. But the rigid panel for the fiberglass has a longer higher life expectancy, but it is a little more expensive. Okay, more rigid panel, more resistant to breaking than glass. Acrylic double layer has about 10-year lifespan. Acrylic polycarbonate used for regulating side and walls. Okay, now those are the different types, and so different situations have different advantages to have different plastics, like cost benefit. So if you have a cheaper material, you're gonna have less cost beginning, but you might have to have a higher cost down the road. Or if you have more expensive material, you have for a longer period of time, you have a bigger upfront cost. And so if you're starting a business, what do you guys think that might mean? Like if you have to do a higher upfront cost, is that a good thing, bad thing, what do you guys think?
It's either a good thing.
It's
Higher
just
cost.
harder to do. Like if
Harder
you're
to
starting
do.
up a new business, you're not gonna have a whole ton of money to spend on that kind of stuff. But I mean, it could be better in the long run.
Yeah, it's one of those cost benefits. So if you have the ability to have the money, if you want to have them last longer, maybe it might be better for business depending on where you are. That's where we'll go over next. I'm going to do you guys a demonstration of how you might figure that out through some situations. So to kind of figure that out, first you're going to want to know your location and what type of business you're going to have. So if you're going to be growing like a seasonal crop that might not need greenhouse, that might not need a greenhouse the whole year, like a high tunnel that you can like take the greenhouse materials off during the summer, that might determine what type of material you use. Or if you use a material that you can get a lot more money off of, like if you're like in like a city and you have like a specialty crop, you can definitely pay for that greenhouse a lot quicker than if you were a different way. So you definitely have a lot more expensive material. So first you need to know location, what business type you have, and second you need to know what the standard is for the business. So if you're going out there and you're going to grow tomatoes, you're not going to do like something that's more expensive, less expensive. You're going to do generally what everybody else does, because that's probably what the most effective thing is going to be. So kind of knowing the business and knowing what other people do kind of gives you a good idea of what you should choose. Knowing how much capital you're going to have, so like how much money you're going to be able to have. So if you know up front you're going to have a ton of money for your business and you can afford to do like long-term costs, it can be very beneficial to do that. Or if you don't have a lot of money, you can definitely go the cheaper route and do the cheaper plastics. So, and then finally, you need to choose. So that can be a quick or slow process. So I'm going to do an example. So Florida blueberries. They are location, it would be Florida, and so Florida is a tropical climate, well, subtropical climate, most of it in the south. And so, but around Gainesville, they don't need them the whole year, but they're able to extend the season. That's the knowledge that I know. And so I would know that maybe a cheaper plastic would be better because you're not going to need the whole year. Maybe you can reuse it because you can take them off while you just like the rigid plastics. So, and that's usually what the standard is shown here. So I would choose a plastic. So now I'm going to have you guys, since there's so few of you guys can like group up. I was going to have 2 groups. I'm going to give you guys 3 examples, and you guys can like talk amongst yourself and decide what type of material you would use for the situation. If you guys want to group it up.
I'll move, there's 2.
Do you want 2 groups or 1 group? Well, if there was more people, I was going to do like the 2 tables, but since there's like.
I mean, I could be in a group as well.
Okay, so you guys can, or you can do this individually. Or,
Do you want it to be group?
I think it'd be easier for you guys to group because you guys can talk about it.
Okay.
So. Okay. So first situation. Sorry if I spelled this incorrectly. Spell machine. Okay. Lettuce. 2. Michigan lettuce, number 1. Number 2, New York. Tomatoes. 3, Florida. Orchids. Alright. So I'll give you guys about, uh, 5 minutes to talk amongst yourselves, your two groups, to see what might be best.
So, what do we do?
You want Michigan first?
Sure.
Mhm. So, yeah, I'm more like, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty full. So I'm
I think
assuming
that
we'd have to have some sort of material that we need that
Nope.
we're just insulating. So that
Oh, for
probably throws
the
out a lot of
plastics.
plastics and things like that, other than
Michigan would probably like the plastic, this is cool.
So we're just choosing between those three or more specific?
Yeah, and kind of like reasoning behind, so know like what material and kind of like your reasoning behind why. And so you should use the 4 steps to kind of figure out which one would be best.
Okay. So we can probably change, yeah, that's the first one, the second actually have.
Yes, I think glass is probably most expensive.
I'm gonna go with glass for,
There's different types of glass insulation, like you do it double panel glass, and it's pretty good insulated. We could just do glass.
we can work visualize all of it.
New York.
That's what I was thinking.
So I'm gonna say with tomatoes,
So what do you guys
a little
think?
bit less.
For Michigan, instance, it's pretty cool.
On temperature, like orchids, you need to have a pretty steady temperature. So if we're using these three, we'll use one for each. I don't know if we want to use the film plastic for orchids. You know what I mean? Because the temperature, you know, for it's gonna fluctuate a little bit too much. So I think we need to have more of a closed actual greenhouse as opposed to an open hoop house with the film plastic.
Sure.
Okay. So we can do tomatoes, New York, and then we would probably raise those tomatoes over the summer. We just start a little bit earlier.
I don't think you wanna put the plastic.
Start early in the spring, like when typically we put it too
It's just like
cold
consideration.
for tomatoes, but since we have this hoop house,
Right.
with the
I
film
mean, I'm pretty
plastic,
sure,
we
I
start
don't know
a
like
bit
what
earlier.
exactly like, what primary uses are, I mean, like, as far as materials, I don't know like if we do use plastic, but they're sure what it's, I'm
Yeah,
right.
black or the
It
rigid.
also depends.
Oh, it does, okay.
That's why there's different types of plastic too. There's a lot of different types of
Okay.
I mean, it also depends on the actual.
Yeah, I think the rigid panel kind of looks like it has like a,
I'm looking for kind of-
Mhm.
almost kind of like that type of thing. And there's like plastic in there, so then there's air in the middle. Is this what the rigid panel looks like? Is that where
It's kind of like, it's like triangle, 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 or like different shapes.
like that, right? So I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like,
Right,
it's
yeah.
like mix match, like a zigzag.
And in the middle, there's air pockets.
Yeah.
Insulation.
Also depends on the type too.
Yeah.
A lot of different types of
As long as
things.
it's kind of like, you can actually see the.
Yeah. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. So let's all go around to the two groups and you guys are gonna say what you chose and like your reasoning behind that. So we'll start with you guys.
Should I go first?
Oh, yeah, if you want to.
Well, we were thinking of film plastic for the Michigan lettuce, just because, you know, that the climate is a bit colder over there. So something that would trap the heat, maybe that would sound like. For New York, we're thinking that's even colder, so rigid panel. And it has a coastal winds. And then Florida is very hot over here, very humid, so we're thinking glass. So just to let it in the sunlight and that's more.
Okay, so what were you guys thinking?
I think we said glass for Michigan, plastic for New York, and then a rigid panel for Florida.
Okay.
Because Michigan, we said to use glass because it does get fairly cold there for a pretty long time.
Okay.
And then the tomatoes for New York, work, because you can just start them early, and they're a little more tolerant of weather than the other two crops. So we decided to go with plastic, and then orchids are not tolerant at all, so we set a rigid panel to like really give them a microclimate in the
Okay.
greenhouse.
Good job, you guys. Definitely with the, especially if you're in like Michigan, if you can use glass, if you're, especially if you hit a very niche market, you can make a lot of money. The important thing about choosing a material is it's all your decision, so there's no real wrong answer as long as you have a good reason for choosing the material. And so, all you guys are correct. You can choose whatever material you want as long as you can find a really good reason for it. So, but it might affect your business depending on what you choose. So, but there is no real wrong answer for one. Because if you get a niche market, you can get a lot more money made from your production, so you can afford a more expensive setup. But glass is more of a expensive option, and not many people use that because it's very expensive. And also, they can break really easy, so you would have to replace it depending on. But there's a lot of foreign places that might use glass because of the niche market they can hit and a lot of money they can make. So, all right, cool. So, good job today, guys. Today you guys are going to write inside your diary of what you guys did today. Kind of do a description. Just kind of write about what you guys took out today. Let's take a couple minutes now to do that.
Sorry. I do that all the time, by the way. I see things.
It's down right in the corners.
Yeah.
That's the major production.
Yeah. That's not like tough, I thought we were talking about like
No, no.
saran wrap.
No, not like plastic wrap. It's like a sheet.
Yeah, it's like a plastic thing.
You can jump on the trailer.
Okay, guys. Good job today. Tomorrow we're going to discuss IPM. Good job, guys. All right. That's it.
Yeah, it stays there.
Oh.
Nothing's right.
Okay, Bo, so nice job. So can you go ahead and tell us what you thought you did well, what went well in this lesson?
I think I went structurally wise, I think I went good. Like I did all the things I was supposed to. I think my interest approach, I kind of missed a little bit. Because I totally forgot until I was actually doing it. I was gonna have since if I was actually doing this in front of a class, I would actually have the materials in front of me so I can show them. So I was gonna pull up on Google, but I totally forgot, and so I was about to do the interest approach. And so I was just trying to, turning into a discussion, kind of, a little bit about it,
Okay.
so.
So something more, so even like you said, you could have pulled up materials on Google, or even on your PowerPoint, you could have had some of those materials out there, instead of having the names, just have pictures. And can you identify these different greenhouse components?
I stole that PowerPoint.
Good teacher's a good thief sometimes, but you can always modify it and add to it and cross things out. How about something that you could, another thing that you could improve on then?
kind of some of the lecture aspect when I was doing, I was kind of like, not as organized with it as I should have been. I should have practiced it more before.
Alright, what do you all think? What comments for Bo? Good comments, areas in which you can improve?
I really like that you listed the objectives, so we knew what to expect in the lessons and learn.
I think you were very knowledgeable about your information, but like, for someone like me that don't know about it, like, it's kind of tough, like, 'cause I don't know like what a rigid panel is like, or any stuff like, anything like that. But I think you definitely knew what you were talking about for sure.
I know you saw that one, like, I don't know much about the subject, and I feel like you kind of just went through the slides at the end. But it seemed like you handled yourself really well.
Yeah, so I would kind of reiterate that. I think overall, I think you did a really good job. Maybe what you could have done as far as the lecturing goes. So you said you took that PowerPoint, and that's fine that you borrowed it from somewhere, my card or whatever. But there was a lot of information there you didn't talk about. Maybe that you didn't need to talk about, but that probably should have been omitted. And then that way you would have had the less is more concept. So you might have had 4 different materials, and you just talked maybe 1 or 2 important things about that material, like maybe the cost and like what it's made out of or something. And I think that would have helped the lecture portion a little bit. Overall, like Michelle said, I thought you were very knowledgeable. You seemed like you knew what you were talking about. What could you do to make sure that we know, or that we're understanding the material as you go?
Ask questions.
Yeah. So ask questions, and then just maybe even have like a little bit more open style discussion instead of just lecture. Again, it was only like a 10-minute lecture, so that's not bad to just kind of go through some of the stuff. If it's longer, you definitely want to break that up with asking questions from the audience and posing questions.
Oh, it was 10 minutes. So I'm terrible about time.
Total, you were just about hit your mark.
Okay.
Um,
So I'm really
But
bad.
the lecture portion was about 10 minutes, which that's fine. I mean, that's kind of what we were looking for. As far as the demonstration goes, I like how you had the steps and you read the steps, but I think if you would have had those on the board or wrote those out, it would have given us something better to remember those steps.
Okay.
Because I honestly, I know you said them, but I don't remember what they are right now. So
Okay.
if that's your demonstration, that's an important piece is, here's the steps you need to follow to picking one of these things. So, or even like a handout with like a note sheet that had those steps written on it, that would have been really good.
Okay.
Yeah, so, any other comments or anything? It was a good reflection to the journal write. I think maybe you could have just brought that back a little bit, like after you did the journal write, just say, okay, what are a couple of things that you wrote about?
Okay.
Or as a teacher, you collect those, and that would be a formative assessment as well, to see what they wrote about.
Thank you guys.
Oh, you want these, bro?
Yes.
How are you today?
Okay.
I was supposed to ask when you were Boston if you're interested in going on that tour tomorrow. Oh. That's okay. So if you're not gonna go? Okay.
Doing the food packaging.
Were you?
The food packaging. Cat's
Oh,
food
okay.
packaging.
Yeah.
Doing my sister's makeup. It's her first homecoming. She called me crying. And then I'm working the Bougie Train contest.
Okay. So everyone has a form. Are you ready?
No, but
No. Do yourself for me.
So good afternoon, everyone. Today we're gonna discuss the swine breeds. So just to give a quick summary of what we talked about last class, we talked about the swine industry in the United States, and out of beef, lamb, and chicken, pork happen to be the #1 consumed meat worldwide. The swine business in the United States is a really big business. The top 5 producing pork states are Iowa, North Carolina, Minnesota, Illinois, and Indiana. And while pigs farm have decreased, the number of pigs per farm have increased. So to start off, we have 2 pigs here. One is a Landrace and one is a Chester White. So I want you guys to take a minute to think about which one is which, and give me at least one reason why you know that one is the Chester White and the other is the Landrace. And if you have an idea, you can just raise your hand. Okay, Austin?
The one on the left is the Landrace.
Okay. And why do you think that?
It appears to be a little bit stockier build, looks pretty long. Can't really get a good representation of full lengths compared, and it doesn't look as white.
Okay. Does anyone have another idea?
I kind of thought the one on the right was the Landrace because its ears are super, like, I know they're both like floppy eared, but I thought the Landrace had like super floppy ears.
Okay. Does anyone else have another idea? Like which one might be which? Okay. So in fact, the one on the right is the Landrace and the one on the left is the Chester White. As you can see, the Landrace does have a bit of a longer ear that droops down a bit longer than the Chester White. And the Landrace is a bit longer body as compared to the Chester White. So our objectives for today is students will be able to distinguish between swine breeds by using the 3-step rule. Students will be able to understand which breeds are maternal and paternal, and students will be able to tell where the breed originated. So the breeds of swine that we're going to discuss today are the Berkshire, the Chester White, the Duroc, the Hampshire, the Landrace, the Poland China, the Spot, and the Yorkshire. So maternal and paternal breeds. Maternal breeds include the Chester White, the Landrace, and the Yorkshire. Maternal breeds are white in color. They are known for their milking abilities, their litter size, and their mothering abilities, while paternal breeds include the Berkshire, the Duroc, the Hampshire, the Poland China, and the Spot. And paternal breeds are colored. They are known for their muscle abilities, their growth traits, and their leanness. So while I'm going over the breeds, if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me. So we're starting off with the Chester White. They are white in color. They originated in the United States in Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is why they got their name. They are droopy-eared. They are a mothering breed, and they are known to produce large litters. Yes?
Should we take notes on these for the test?
Sure, that would be great. You guys want to take out a sheet of paper? Take notes. Is everyone good on this slide, or do you want me to give you guys another second? Okay. Are you good? Okay. So next we have the Landrace, which is white in color. It originated in Denmark, Europe. It has droopy ears. It is long bodied, and it's known for its mothering ability, mothering instincts. Next we have the Yorkshire, which is personally my favorite breed. It is white in color. It originated in England. It has large erect ears. It is known as the mother breed of all the breeds. It produces large litters, and it is a bacon-type hog. Next, we have our Duroc, which is probably the most distinct breed by its physical characteristics, because it is a solid red in color, but the reds can vary between a lighter red and a darker red. It originated in the United States. It has drooped ears. It has excellent meat type, and it produces large quantities of milk. Next, we have our Berkshire, which is known for the 6 points. It is black with white legs, a snout, and a switch. It originated in England. It has erect ears, and it is known for producing high-quality meat. Next, we have the Hampshire, which is black with a white belt, which is this little area right here. It originated in northern England, and is probably one of the oldest American breeds that we have in the United States. It has small erect ears, and it is a well-known meat breed. Next, we have the Poland China, which is black with white snouts, leg, and a switch. It originated in the United States. It is noted for its ability to easily gain weight. It has droopy ears, and it is a generally poor mothering instincts. And last, we have the spotted Poland China, also known as just the spot. It has black and white spots. It was developed in Indiana, United States. It has droopy ears. It is an efficient feeder, and it is noted for its rapid weight gain. So the steps to identifying a breed are basically to determine the color and patterns, if any, to look at the ears, and examine the body structure. So a fun fact is that all breeds that end in shire have erect ears. So to kind of go over a demonstration, we first have this breed here. And the first thing that I looked at were the erect ears. So based on the fun fact, I can go ahead and eliminate which breeds?
Landrace, Poland China, Spot, Chester White.
Correct. So the next thing I noticed about this breed that it is black and white. So which breeds can we eliminate from here?
Yorkshire, Berkshire.
Perfect. So based on that, in the white belt, I know that this is a Hampshire. Our next example, the first thing I looked at were the ears. So I know that this breed does not include a shire. I looked at the body structure, it's a bit longer than other breeds, and I looked at the color, and I know it's a solid red. And so I know that this breed is a Duroc. And our last example is, the first thing I looked at were the ears, and I know that it has erect ears, so I know this breed has to end in shire. The next thing I looked at was the body, and it's not as long as other breeds. And the next thing I looked at was the color, and that it was white, so I knew that this was a Yorkshire. So for activity, I want you guys to be in two groups. And we're gonna give you guys a couple minutes to kind of put the board together. Oh, sorry. You guys have about 3 minutes to put the board together. So the first one should be the swine breed. The next should be paternal or maternal. And the last one should be where it originated. In one of them, I did quite make a mistake. Instead of Denmark, England, it should be Denmark, Europe. I'm sorry about that. And I have the steps for identifying a breed. You need to look back on there.
They call it China in the United States. What?
That sounds English to me. Shut up. Already.
Sorry.
So, what was the weight?
Well, go ahead.
You're the
Is that anyone
defensive
with
white.
a white one? It's pretty much go with the white.
That's it.
Yeah.
White ox or cheese.
Yeah.
Remember like this and this.
How much?
We had moms who they produce larger litters, they have better milking qualities. And they put
Get a higher queen.
remember the fun fact? Shiner.
For
Only Hampton.
2 years.
Rectangles.
And
This one's pretty good. I think you're right, having it.
it was against a huge farm.
It is.
Pharaoh song. And then some of the.
30 more seconds, we're together.
that had a group that tried to kill
There's a lot of pressure on us.
I'm sorry.
The land use is from Denmark.
We went with Wise. This is the first one, and then some others were really good. We had a couple blue
And
ones.
then it's from the Arizona.
Those are really good ones. Had one on race too.
Have an extra
Is
one.
it usually like a land race on a hand brought back
Could be
from
wrong.
Okay, so is everybody good?
Freeway crossings. For commercial.
Okay, so we can kind of go over it. So the spot, did everybody have the correct one for the spot? Okay, awesome. Next, we have the Poland China, the Poland breed, or Paterno breed that originated in the United States. Are you guys good? Awesome.
You left the team circle closure. High five.
The Hampshire, which is also a Paterno breed, but it originated in northern England. You guys good? Awesome. The Landrace, which originated in Denmark, Europe, which is a Paterno breed. Good.
Denmark, England.
I'm sorry, it's Europe. sorry.
No.
Oh, wow.
The Duroc, which is a Paterno breed from the United States. Good. The Chester White is a maternal breed from Chester County, Pennsylvania. The Berkshire, which is a paternal breed from England.